Hey, give it to Ron.
He's not going to be here.
Oh yeah, he's
He's just got out of the hospital.
Lights are on, Greg. Lights are on.
Addition, deletion, resolution. Deletion of business contract. Consent agenda. इसके लिए addition, deletion में already है.
Without you.
Addition, deletion.
Should not have
Resolution.
Oh,
Already there. Usually.
so. No, I don't have to قبل ساعة.
So, so under the addition, deletion, this resolution is already there. So now we're going to do that way. We're not going to call it out.
are they already on there?
Yeah. So we just,
Is it already on
but
there?
we have to still make a motion to bring, somebody have to.
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about it, but to add it.
It's there already.
It's
We
already
set
there.
up.
Hold on.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
sorry, whenever you're ready.
My computer's updating. Wrong time.
No, he said it's already there, but it's usually, this is how it is. It is.
Because the last time I checked, it wasn't on there.
So you added the resolution under the addition, deletions already? Is this too?
No, you can see that, everybody here.
Exactly.
So
It's
do
not
we
an
have to add
approved
it?
to discussion.
Unless,
The agenda.
agenda, unless we bring,
It has to be
You
approved.
can probably see them because you guys have special rights,
yeah,
but not everybody will see it because they're not officially added. Once they're
Exactly.
added, we'll lock them.
thank you.
So,
Sorry, I should have.
all of this.
Because that's what I was trying to make. It shouldn't be published to the public yet until we brought this to the, brought forward to the council. All right. But it's just to ask for this, okay. Comment candidates. Huh? So let's see the resolution 2023 dash blah blah. Approving the contract for the general liability insurance policy. Okay. The city of Hamtramck, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
let's get it ready.
7:04, 7.
You see next door is a little lot.
Yeah. City of Hamtramck has
Okay, we ready?
Yes, sir.
You just started putting them on there, make it easier.
All right, good evening, everyone. I call this meeting of Hamtramck City Council to order. Today is Tuesday, September 26, 2023. Would the clerk call the rules, please?
Councilman Rafai,
Present.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
present.
and Councilman Hassan is not here today, and Mr. Mayor, you're present, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And his
This
nation.
republic
which stands for one nation under God,
liberty and
Justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any community announcements?
We have a few, Mr. Mayor. The annual trunk or treat is coming up October 25th. We'll probably announce that once or twice more. It's going to be at 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. out in Zussman Park. We have that posted. We also have a notice that DTE contacted us on. DTE is trying to get into houses to inspect meters. Apparently they're having a lot of problems doing it because people are not reaching back out to them. They're sending notices, and they said ultimately people will get shut off if not responded to, because it's a mandatory by law thing. So they asked us to announce that. Also, the constant one on here is the mutual aid. All the details are on there. That's all I had. I'm sorry, Carolyn, you had one too.
Yep, so the property auction is now live, it's a silent bid, so anyone who wants to bid on a property can turn in their sealed bid to the clerk's office, and those applications are out the store and also online. And then the DDA is doing a project called Shop the World, and we have flyers here for that as well, so download this QR code with your phone and check out the event.
I have an announcement as well. AV ballots go out this Friday, So look for those in your mailbox, and if you are requesting an AV ballot, make sure you fill out an AV application, or come to the clerk's office for us to take care of you.
All right.
That's it, Mayor.
I see an announcement here. Is someone supposed to read it, or?
That's great.
That's from Mr. Greg. You can.
Give it, Greg?
Yes, sir.
On behalf of a nonpartisan committee to introduce the candidates for the Common Council, I would like to inform everyone, including the public, that on Sunday, October the 8th, there's going to be a candidates forum that will be held in the Hamtramck Public Library. It is organized by a joint committee that's comprised of Yemenis, Bengalis, and other ethnic groups in the area. The event, the doors open at 4 o'clock for the event. At 4:30, there's going to be refreshments. At 5 o'clock, the actual forum starts. And each person attending will have a chance to ask a question of either one or multiple candidates. And the conclusion is planned for 6:30 of the forum. So everyone is invited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We move to the proclamation, recognitions, and presentations. And we have the first one, Downtown Development Authority 2023 Annual Report.
Councilors, Mr. Mayor, I'm actually stepping in for Secretary Galani of the DDA, so I don't have anything prepared today, but I can take you really quickly through our DDA annual report for 2022. A little bit late, but better late than never. So I guess this initiative is really sort of one in a larger initiative to hold ourselves accountable, to be better, to better represent the business community, and to let you all know what we're up to. So I think you can skip down to the next page. So the first piece of really what we do is we work to better maintain the main street, that being Joseph Campbell Avenue. And really like the most important thing that we have done this year and in the last several years is snow removal. We've contracted with a snow removal contractor to make sure that the sidewalks are plowed when there's more than 2 inches of snow on the ground. We've also sponsored many of the big events, the Labor Day Festival, the Music Festival, the Punchki Run, etc. And we've met with Max Gilguinness to talk about her study on trash and trash removal. Go to the next one. This is just a slide with a couple of the numbers, important numbers for 2022. The number of new businesses opened. I think people probably have noticed there are less vacancies on Joseph Campo than in previous years. We've been really actually making a pretty big push. We have a social media coordinator who's now been posting on behalf of the DDA, getting the word out about events and various initiatives, new businesses, and have had pretty good success, as you can see from those numbers. And we also awarded a facade grant in 2022. A couple other accomplishments, the Racks for Ride program. You guys probably noticed this was now quite a while ago, but we got a grant, a small grant for installation of bike racks, and we made that into an art competition that was very successful. I think we had maybe 15 or 20 entrants. I don't know if you remember, Carolyn, but it was a good participation. And also beautified the street and made it more accessible for bikers. One other important initiative that we did is we hired JB Consulting, and they have surveyed the inventory of vacant businesses, open spaces, the number of buildings, the owners, and really tried to give us a baseline of information about who the business owners are, who the people are that are living and working in the DDA, something that we haven't had in the past, and we think is important to making sure that we better communicate with our constituents. Also, you probably have noticed some planter box improvements. I would really probably point to Lynn Blassie, who is not a member of the DDA, but she's attended a lot of our meetings and worked on that in concert with the DDA. Probably go to the next. So it's just a slide with some pictures of some of the things that we've worked on. And then I think most importantly, the goals for 2023 and beyond. We've really been working you know, sort of, I talked a little bit about the surveying that we did of the business owners. That is the foundation, really. And what we've been doing in 2022 is the foundation, really, to get us, hopefully, to the next step, which is Main Street accreditation. That will unlock a lot of resources through the state of Michigan that you can only access financial and otherwise once you become a Main Street member. So a lot of these initial steps that we've been doing, they're not as interesting, maybe as fun, but they're the baseline that we need to take that next step and make more resources available for our business owners and our citizens. And I think that's just about it. If you have any questions, I guess I can take them.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I guess this was the 2022 annual report.
Correct.
There's a
Yes.
typo, Max, in there. It says 2023 annual report.
Does it-
I mean, here in the agenda.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's
Thanks for
on our
that.
side.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is the proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Who would like to read that?
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Proclamation recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer is a significant health concern affecting women and in some cases men, regardless of age, race, or background. And whereas early detection and awareness play a vital role in preventing the spread of breast cancer and improving the chances of successful treatment. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month provides an opportunity to unite the community and the nation to raise awareness about breast cancer, support those affected by it, and promote education about prevention and early detection. And whereas countless individuals, organizations, and medical professions are dedicated to research, advocacy, and support efforts that contribute to progress in the fight against breast cancer. Now therefore, I, Amber Gala, Mayor of Hamtramck, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in our city and encourage all citizens to participate in activities and events that promote breast cancer awareness, offer support to those affected, and emphasize the importance of regular screening and early detection. Let us come together to honor the survivors, remember those we have lost, and reaffirm our commitment to the ongoing battle against breast cancer. By working collectively, we can make strides toward the future free from the burden of this disease.
Thank you. Next one is Proclamation Fire Prevention Week.
I
I was
can
gonna
read,
do the Polish one.
I can read this one again. I'll read this one.
She asked me
All
for
right.
pronunciations.
Proclamation recognizing Fire Prevention Week, October 8th through the 14th. Whereas fire is a devastating force that can cause significant loss of life, property, and natural resources. And whereas the safety and well-being of our community depends on our commitment to preventing fires and promoting fire safety. And whereas Fire Prevention Week, observed annually in October, is a dedicated time to underscore the importance of fire safety and emergency preparedness. And whereas the theme of Fire Prevention Week 2023, Prevent Kitchen Fires, Cook with Caution, serves as a critical reminder of the need for vigilance in our homes, particularly in the kitchen where many fires originate. And whereas our firefighters, first responders, and dedicated community members work tirelessly to prevent fires, protect our community, and respond to emergency. Now therefore, I, Ahmed Galib, Mayor of Hamtramck, do hereby proclaim the week of October 8th to the 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week, and urge all citizens to participate in fire safety education program, review their fire escape plans, and take proactive steps to reduce fire risks in their homes and workplace. Let us recognize and express our gratitude to our firefighters and first responders who risk their lives to keep us safe. By raising awareness and taking preventative measures, we can create a safer environment for all.
Thank you. The next one is the Polish American Heritage Month.
All right. Proclamation recognizing Polish American Heritage Month. Whereas the United States of America is a diverse nation enriched by the cultures, traditions, and contributions of various ethnic groups, including the Polish American community, and whereas the Polish American community has a rich and storied history in the United States dating back to the Jamestown colony in the 17th century, and later the first wave of millions of Poles migrating to America in the early 19th century. And whereas Polish Americans have played a pivotal role in shaping the cultural, social, and economic tapestry of our nation, contributing to fields such as politics, science, arts, sports, and business, and whereas Polish Americans have preserved their heritage with pride, passing down traditions, language, music, dance, and cuisine, which continues to enrich our American mosaic, and whereas the month of October holds special significance as it commemorates the first Polish settlers, as well as the deaths of American Revolutionary War heroes, General Kazimierz Pulaski, the father of the American cavalry, and Thaddeus Kosciuszko, and the enduring ties between Poland and the United States. And whereas by designated October as Polish American Heritage Month, we honor the enduring legacy of Polish Americans and encourage all Americans to learn about and appreciate their cultural heritage. Now, therefore, I, Emir Galib, Mayor of Hamtramck, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Polish American Heritage Month in our city and encourage all residents to participate in events and activities that promote the understanding and appreciation of Polish American cultural and heritage. Let us honor the heritage and accomplishments of Polish Americans and celebrate the diversity that enriches our community and strengthens the bonds of our nation.
Thank you. Did you practice pronouncing those names?
Nah, I got those.
No, yeah, this is, well, pronounce them wrong.
All right, thank you. Next one is the proclamation for the Yemeni revolution.
I can take
You want to take it, or I can
that.
take it?
Unless you wanna.
Let's
Oh.
not do it, maybe.
All right, I can do it. Yeah, it's a short one. So, proclamation recognition of the Yemeni revolution. Whereas the Yemeni people inside the country and abroad celebrate the 61st anniversary of the Yemeni revolution of September 26, 1962, the revolution in which the Yemeni people overthrew the monarchy regime that kept the country in dark ages for centuries. And whereas the 26th of September marked the birth of the Arab Republic of Yemen in the northern part of the country, whereas this paved the way for the revolution of the 14th of October, 1 year later, in the southern part of Yemen against the British occupation, which led to its liberation and independence. And whereas the outcome of both revolutions was the reunion of the country on May 22nd, 1990, and whereas the people of Yemen continue to face recurrent waves of counter-revolutions that threaten their republic, unity, and sovereignty, and whereas they continue to fight for liberty, unity, democracy, and social and economic equity and justice, and whereas Yemenis realize the importance of and the value of the 26th of September and the 14th of October revolutions after they experienced the rule of variant militias over the past several years, they now honor and recognize their September and October revolutions and celebrate them like they have never done before. This is happening in concurrence with their ongoing struggle to regain their republic, freedom, unity, and sovereignty. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the City of Hamtramck hereby proclaim the 26th of September and the 14th of October to be designated as the Yemeni Revolution Days, and encourage, recognize, and congratulates the Yemeni people on celebrating those national holidays. Okay, so we're done with this proclamation period, and we move to the addition, deletions on agenda approval. We have the first one, Resolution 2023. That would be 151, approving amendment of general provision of Hamtramck City Council, revised 92623. Can I get a motion to
I'll make
add
a
this?
motion.
Second.
All right, so everyone in favor of adding this?
Aye.
All right, so this would be F, Resolution 2023-151. The next one is Resolution 2023-152, approving the contract for the general liability insurance policy.
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor of adding that?
Aye.
Thank you. That would be Resolution 2023-152G. All right, we move now to the public comment section.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, I have Matthew Keegler from Garden City. Welcome. 3 minutes.
Good evening. While I don't live in Hamtramck, I do teach in Hamtramck and strongly feel it is my duty to advocate against things
that have potential to harm children and young people in the community. I first want to say that I condemn any act that destroys property. Vandalism is vandalism, and that's true whether it's a flag being torn down or a political poster being defaced. Additionally, I strongly condemn any group that labels anyone, current administration or not, a terrorist because it is Islamophobic and should be labeled as such. That said, I firmly believe the minority or ethnic intimidation ordinance will criminalize young people and further harm the community. I have gathered from multiple sources that many acts of vandalism are being done by teenagers. I do not see how jail time and fines do anything other than furthering a cycle of violence and therefore need to be eliminated. Instead, I call for the council to create programs of restorative justice and community service, especially for minors. Restorative justice gives offenders opportunities to take responsibility for their actions and to repair the harm. They take responsibility by holding dialogue with victims, repairing or paying damages, or by taking other similar actions. And thank you for sharing the history of Yemen on a personal note, and I hope for peace in that area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually can, if I can say, I'm actually working on something with a couple of other cities that I'm going to present to the council and mayor regarding restorative justice for juveniles and to work towards something similar to what you're actually talking about exactly, because we don't think that it's helpful to punish juveniles for things and rather to help them set their straight in the future. So I am actually working on something like that. I haven't really talked about it yet, but soon I will be. So actually, it's heating up. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Josh Hansknecht?
Good evening. Thank you for your time once again. My name is Josh Hansknecht. First, I'd like to speak kind of on a personal note. For the agenda item, I do believe that you should purchase AC units for your server rooms. Computers get incredibly hot really fast and they break because of the heat. I think having a cool room for your computers is very important. But I'm also up here to represent the Hamtramck Queer Alliance, and I want to echo sentiments that have already been shared today, that we are not looking to criminalize children. We're not really looking to criminalize everybody. We want to build anybody. We want to build a safe and inclusive city for everybody to feel welcome here and for everybody to be good neighbors to each other here. And so that's our goal, and I think that restorative practices, restorative justice is more aligned with that goal. I look forward to having an opportunity to sit at a table and work out some plans of action to help bring this community back together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Sarah Tarian?
Hello, I want to thank the City Council for making me feel unsafe in my community. I've been here for 10 years and I felt safe here until this past summer. The flag ban, the vandalism, the harassment of my friends and neighbors is scary. Now the council that enacted these policies wants to limit free speech. By violating the Open Meetings Act, you are telling residents, I don't care about you or what you have to say. So since the emails from last meeting were not read, I guess I would give an update since it doesn't seem like the council cares. There was an email from the Fair Housing Center regarding fair housing awareness and resources and services offered. That's for everyone in the city, including city staff. There was an email asking not to adopt block safety, and there were 8 emails asking the council to reconsider the resolution violating the Open Meetings Act and reaffirming your commitment to Open Meetings Act. It is your job to listen to residents talk at these meetings. If you don't like it, you can step down or be voted out.
Thank you. Pokai, is that? Is that, how do you pronounce your last name?
Okay.
Pokoy, okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I'm actually calling up on behalf of PLAV Post 6 at Eveline and McDougal. One of the businesses that's stuck in a redoing of the streets. Behind this establishment has been a deteriorating alleyway. Today, this afternoon, the UPS truck got stuck there. They called in for a big truck to get them out of it. We've complained about the sinkhole right there for a couple of years. We do know that cameras have been put in the alleyway to take a look. I talked to Charlie Smith with Hennessy, who's in charge of the program right here with the street repair. He said right now that's out of his hands. I said, Charlie, you're 100 feet away. Let's look and see. They had Hutch out there, they had the other guys there. He said right now it's out of their hands, they're doing the street work. Something needs to be done there. This afternoon, just after 12 o'clock, I took about 8 pictures of cars coming down the slope, damaging their front end because they cannot get down Eveline Street. Eveline is blocked off at Mitchell at the alleyway, so the only way out is through the alleyway south of Eveline between Mitchell and McDougal. Last year, when they did the water lines, they converted Mitchell and Eveline to two-way streets during the construction. It's a little bit of a headache, but it would make things a lot easier. Earlier this year, there was a DTE truck, Performance Services, when we lost power in the alley. He got stuck in the back. Something needs to be done. It's a sinkhole that's been happening there for a number of years, and it's just, I'm going to say perfume on an animal. It's just, you know, patched over, but the past few years it hasn't been done. This afternoon I, did send the city manager a picture of it and said something needs to be done. He said he wants to speak to, the same people I did. Talking to Charlie this afternoon, he said he's waiting on a decision from Max and the police department if they can make those two streets two-way streets during the time of the construction. They're in favor of it so they can block people going onto Eveline. So this way here, they don't have to worry about somebody getting through the barricades and getting their vehicle damaged by equipment that's out there. I just want to bring it up. This needs to be handled. I was talking to DPW. I did talk to Max. I'm just saying,
Sure.
it needs to be taken care of.
Thank you.
I know that there's a whole lot of, construction going on in the city, but to have people
Thank you, Mr.
damaging their
Floyd.
cars, enough is enough.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing,
Thank
sir.
you.
Mr. Mayor, as Mr. Pokai said, he did bring this to me this afternoon, actually more in the evening. I already signed out the potential issue with the sewer behind post 6 there to be investigated further, so we'll try to figure out what's going on there. It was the first time it's been brought to my attention. As far as the two-way traffic, I'm not sure. I'll go out there tomorrow and take a look myself and see if it's
Possible.
conducive to the right or not.
Had one? Oh, you wanted to speak for public hearing, I apologize, I'll get back to you on that one. Abraham Abdullah?
Yes.
Did you want to speak now?
Hello, and good evening.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, no problem. Hello, and good evening. My name is Ibrahim Abdullah. I've been living in Hamtramck over 20 years. It took me 18 years to buy a house for me and my family. I have 5 kids. I never in this 20 years see a house tax over 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 the most. When I buy my house, my taxes came out 1,800. I was complaining about it. So my kids, they grow up. We decide to build 2 rooms in the back of my house for my kids. I find out my taxes went up $4,769. So basically, I'm renting the house. It's not my house. It's the last 1,800. So my house is 6,500. I don't know who's the reason to raise the taxes. Is it the city? the state and what's going on with this. I was so happy to push my family together because I was tired 21 years and I'm trying to rent from house to the other house. When I find this me in my family, basically right now, we're not owning the house. We're not the owner. We have to pay the $550 every month for two room in the back, 2 room in the front, 2 bathrooms, and 1 big room upstairs. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for everybody, and I don't know what I told you.
You wanna address that, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look it up and see what's going on. I can't address it on the spot.
Sure.
Wadi Al-Zurabi?
Yes.
And I paid for this.
I speak in our full language, but I speak Arabic. In the beginning, I live in Hamtramck 10 years, 10 سنوات. تاكس 2022 قاعد اسمي شوي. عندما سويت 2 rooms حق الكز لانهم ضايقين داخل البيت، انا زادت التاكس علي حدود 2000. انا شفت مبلغ كثير، لهذا السبب من اجل اليوم هاي انتظر منكم انه تحاولوا تنقصوا لي التاكس شويه، لانه بدي احط حق الفاميلي انا وياهم نفس البيت، ما بدي اخرجهم من داخل البيت فقط لا غير.
Thank you.
Max, you want to take his information?
الأدرس حقك.
Yusuf Abdullah?
Still have
Good evening, everybody. Well, it's actually the same problem. My name is Yusuf Abdullah. I been in Hamtramck for over 25 years, living with dad and mom. So I decided to build my own house and move in. I bought a lot from the city of Hamtramck in 2022. And so I built the house. The house is not even 50% done. So my estimated taxes for a 35% done was 6,700. So 6,700 partially done, which is his hard done. Came downstairs like 12 months ago. He told me it's only 35% done. So that's how much tax is going to be. So 35% done, 6,700. I wanted, new house, bigger house to live with, because I used to live with mom and dad, and he live with the family. I got kids, so we all can live in the same house together. But my brother has the same thing, same problem. He had an addition in the back. My cousin down here, he didn't do no addition, nothing at all in the back. They raised his taxes almost $1,000, no reason. But this is not what they told us when I first got the lot. I got the lot from the city of Hamtramck. They did not mention nothing about the taxes. Everyone knows, she knows me. That's my problem. So I'm afraid now, when the house is done, how much they gonna charge me taxes? It's 6,700 right now, 35% done. How much they gonna charge me when it's 100% done? That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. Take information.
Justin Jessup?
Okay.
Justin? Oh.
That's my job.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Naeem is on his laptop. I think it's quite rude. Would you ask him to pay attention?
Sarah Smith?
Hi, I'm Sarah Smith. I'm an organizer in Detroit for Babe House. It's a national solidarity network. It's for QT BIPOC, which is queer, trans, black, indigenous people of color. We focus on the rights of QT BIPOC and a platform to create awareness for those rights and inclusivity. And we prepare events, platform for those type of people. I have a lack of clarity when it comes to inclusivity everywhere I go as a black person, as a black trans person. And I'll make it short since I only have 3 minutes, but I have noticed the inclusivity levels of like privilege has to do with a lot of the ways that the organizing comes about with the environment that you grow up in. And I would like to say that Hamtramck has taught me a lot growing up, and I'm not originally from Hamtramck, but I do respect Hamtramck as someone that explored the city at a young age. As far as inclusivity, there's not enough of that around as far as centers and a lot of resources for even homeless people that are in the QT BIPOC community. So what I'm saying to you is let's create solidarity with a lot of the resources that we can have by making sure that when we have access to funds that we create, like that with the jobs that you have and with the jobs that the city provides, we can provide a lot more promising reactions on how we can expand the city in a brighter way. So as far as solidarity, I don't see it here in the way I see it in different places that I've been. So what I mean by that is that Hamtramck is very small, I understand that, but it also requires more resources for the people who have been here for a long time, that if you provide that trickle up effect or trickle down effect at least for the economic standpoint with the people that are at the lowest scale, then there would be more opportunities for people who are in middle class to be able to function better in their middle class area. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Mariah? Can you pronounce your last name for me? Abner? 3 minutes.
Today I'd like to speak on the limit of public comment. My understanding is that it feels more like a one-way conversation when people are just given a allotted time to do this. To stand up here anyway takes a lot of gall to just come up here and speak to your representatives. A lot of people feel unwelcome to do that, and this is the place to do that. And by placing more restrictions on it, it makes people feel like there's less access to say what they want to say. And even as we were in here today, the man was speaking about his very own street. You cut him off at 3 minutes. I'm sure he had a little bit more to say. These issues affect all of us, not just the people who live on that very street. It affects everybody in Hamtramck. And to limit the amount of time that you have to speak on that creates a barrier between me and you. And the barrier between us should not be there. It should be an open dialogue, And then it should be more of a conversation with a response, So I feel like these limitations are really keeping it from people from saying what they want to say.
Thank you. Sandra Jessup?
I'm not gonna take 3 minutes, I just wanted to say that everybody should be able to speak and say what they have to say, and that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Okay, thank you. I just want to address some confusion that's going on out there regarding the tax. Some people I heard, they accuse us of raising the tax. We did not raise the tax. The government didn't do anything about the tax. It's the property value that went up, and then the assessment, is going up. So if there's any unfairness or unjust in the assessment, we can address it. That's why I appointed a subcommittee of 3 people from the council to work on this. They will coordinate with the assessor, with the tax department, with the city manager, and see how can we solve this problem. I'm not happy with what I hear from the people, that the tax went up in high amount, 3 times or 4 times the original amount, which is not reasonable. It's not accepted that you pay 6,000 and your neighbor pay 1,000 and you're getting the same service. Yes, you moved here, you like to live in Hamtramck, so we should welcome people and see how we can help them. I'm not happy with that, and this gentleman here is paying 6,000 something for 30% of the construction done. So when he complete the house, it seems like it's gonna go up to 19,000. Who wants to live in Hamtramck and pay 19,000? So just to clear the confusion, we did not take any decision to raise the tax. In fact, we can't do it without the consent and the vote of the people. They have to vote if we decide to raise the tax, but we don't need to raise the tax. We are doing fine with our budget, and we will try to help people, especially the new homeowners. I am not happy with what I hear, the stories, and I think we should come up with a solution, even if we have to come up with some exception, because it's not gonna hurt to help the new homeowners, since the people who own the houses for so long, they pay $1,000 or $1,500. So if you help that person who pays 6,000, it's not gonna hurt anybody. I think it's fair enough to welcome anyone. And I know the houses are going high in a unacceptable way, but it's people who come from out of the state. And yes, they have money, and according to the prices in their states, California or New York, it's nothing for them. 300,000 is compared to the houses they buy there for $1 million or so, it's nothing. So we should not assess the value of the houses based on these exaggerated prices. I think we should be taking that into consideration and look at the house. How old is it? 100,000, 100 year, and I mean the space is limited. So the assessment should be reasonable, not with the exaggerated and the overpriced houses. So we are working on that, and we will try to help you as much as we can.
Also, Mr. Mayor, I just want to bring a point out to this. I want all our real estate agents to be honest with their client. Before you closing the house, find out from the city how much tax going to be, instead of giving them lump sum tax amount and selling the house, putting your profit in your pocket, and put these people on this struggle. So I request all our real estate agents to be honest with the people when you're dealing with them.
Thank you. And I want to address another thing with regarding promoting tolerance and acceptance in our city. Like Josh mentioned, I have a meeting coming with them next week. So my door is open for anyone who requests to meet me. I'm not closing my doors in front of anyone. We want to live in peace and harmony with each other, and anyone who wants to discuss a problem, I welcome anyone to come to my office or wherever they want. Unconditional meetings. So we are working to de-escalate any kind of tension in the city. And like I said, with the restriction of time, I'm not supporting that. And I will use my power at the end of the meeting. If there's someone who hasn't spoken, I will suspend the rules and let him speak, or her. unless there's like 100 people waiting out there, we have to do something about that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I just want to add regarding the tax property subcommittee, we actually had a meeting with our assessor and also our city manager, try to find out any ways that we can explain to our residents regarding property tax, the reason for the increase. But we want to inform them we are actually working as a subcommittee. Hopefully we have another meeting to sit down with our assessor and our city manager and try to get more information and see what we're able to do as council and mayor to kind of help our residents with their taxes.
Okay.
And especially the ones that are building brand new houses in our city.
All right, thank you. And you also have an opportunity to discuss it during the meetings of the assessor board. They have those meetings where you can appeal and they ask you for some documents and then they help you out. It happens, I think, in the beginning of the year or so. Find out when they meet and come up with your documents and ask for help. Thank you. We'll move to the next section, which is the consent agenda. This is approved in a single motion with no discussion. We have approval of minutes from the September 12, 2023 regular city council meeting. B, approval of invoice register date ending September 26, 2023. C, approval of pre-approved expenditure date ending September 26, 2023. D, resolution 2023-145 approving reappointment of Francis Sims as a commissioner to the Hamtramck Housing Commission.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Now we move to the public hearing. And we have resolution 2023-135B approving second reading and public hearing of the amendment to Lumpkin rezoning, amendments to the Hamtramck zoning map.
Motion?
Second.
Okay, so can we have a motion to open the hearing?
Yep, this was a motion to start the
Okay.
public hearing, so 7:53. I have Hagwan.
Hello, everybody. Edwin, I'm here speaking on behalf of my family who lives on Lumpkin and Vincent, so right next to Metropolitan Bakery. I wanted to recommend that you guys definitely approve their plans. They've been a long time, partner of the city of Hamtramck. They're foundational to what we do here, and the street always smells like fresh bread, so I really do appreciate that. A couple of comments. I would say when it comes to the material selection for the fence, towards Danforth and Goodson, I just ask you guys to be mindful of what material you select. If you wouldn't want it in front of your house, I just hope that you respect, you wouldn't put it in front of ours. The other thing is when it comes to any type of landscaping or greenery, we welcome all types. DTE has cut down a lot of trees on Lumpkin, so there's not a whole lot of shading on that street. So we welcome any and all types of shading. The other thing that I think is really vital and important to the plans, and I see that you guys made this amendment in your recent plan, is the main access point is going to be off St. Aubin. I will say that there's 2 elementary schools that drop off kids on Lumpkin. The school buses. The school buses run the routes on Lumpkin, so I think it's really important if they can use St. Aubin. It's a Detroit-owned street. They can beat it up as much as they like, trying to keep Lumpkin as flat as possible, and I think it just makes sense ergonomically. So do appreciate them making that change. One last thing I will say, and this is just throwing it out there, throwing my hat in the ring. If there was any way to add a window or some type of point of service, I would love to buy fresh bread. This is a community that is very carb heavy when it comes to their diet, so I think it makes a lot of sense. It would be a very unique experience in the city of Hamtramck if you're able to buy fresh bread from Metropolitan Bakery. I think a lot of people would welcome that idea. I've heard rumors of people being able to maybe purchase bread, but it seems like shaky. I don't really want to go up to a warehouse and ask, but I would be more than happy to do it. I really do think it would be, a little. It would be pretty cool to be able to buy some fresh bread in the city of Hamtramck. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comments for public hearing. Can I get a motion?
I motion.
Public hearing?
I'll second.
All right.
And it is 7:56.
Yes.
And can I have a motion to discuss the resolution?
Motion?
Second.
Who seconded, I'm sorry?
Councilman Chowdhury. Any discussion?
Yeah.
I want to hear more from the owners here.
Anyone from the Metropolitan
Sure.
would like
You
to?
wanna-
I can speak first.
Carol, yeah. The lady who's behind the whole thing.
Hi, Mayor, hello, Council. Great to be here presenting this. So we have 2 items related to this project on the agenda. This is the rezoning of 5 parcels, and then later on is the site plan approval. They're separate processes, but they're both related to the same project. This is a rezoning from residential to industrial. The land is owned by Metro Baking and it's just north of the property. There's a report that's on board docs. This is the 3rd meeting on this topic. We presented the rezoning first to the Planning Commission. They recommended it. We were here 2 weeks ago, and now this is the 3rd meeting on this topic. This community and economic development staff doesn't believe that on that side of Lumpkin, there really is a demand for future residential development. I don't know of anybody who's contacted me and said, I want to build a house there. Definitely on that side that already has a lot of industrial uses. So I don't see anything, I think the best use would be to rezone it. As well, our 2020 master plan talks about the need to retain and expand industrial facilities and just make sure they're able to continue to thrive and grow in Hamtramck. It doesn't really give a lot of specifics in the master plan, but it just talks about that as an important goal for the city. Also noting in the plan that most job growth comes from the expansion of businesses in cities, not from new businesses moving into cities, and they do plan on adding new jobs. So I will present on the actual site plan in terms of the routes for traffic and the landscaping and all that in the next portion of when we talk about this. But this is really rezoning the parcels. If we don't rezone it, we can't really approve the site plan either, because they wouldn't be allowed to build this on a residential zone. And also George, the owner of the company, is here to speak as well.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Should bring some
Mayor,
bread for us.
council members, thanks for your time today. Also appreciate, the public support. Owner, president, CEO of Metropolitan Baking Company. My family's had roots on Lumpkin since 1945. We were 2 Hamtramck homes. We had a small mechanics garage in the back, and now we are one of the largest wholesale baking companies in the region, delivering bread to every state in the country. There's 100 trucks leaving our plant each day, canvassing Michigan, and we're producing wrapping at Metropolitan Baking Company, about 270, 280 packages a minute for 20 hours a day, 6 days a week. Really proud of where we are, really proud of our community. We've had opportunities to take our facility and kind of say, hey, instead of putting this much investment, instead of putting millions and millions of dollars into Hamtramck, into our current facility, we could put that elsewhere into a big building, a big block, and just kind of restart and almost make it more efficient. But we're proud of where we're at. We love being in this community. So we decided to say, hey, instead of kind of coming at the city council and saying, can you help us out here? We're not doing any of that. We're not asking for tax abatements. My father and I, we're family funding this. We're saying, what we're gonna do here is put about roughly 30,000 square foot facility. It's gonna add about 20 to 25 jobs. And currently that facility is supporting about 270 families daily. About roughly 95 to 110, depending on the season, full-time employees. And then we've got 110 independent distributors that are, a lot of them are located within 5 miles of our facility. So the majority of our business is, our employees are within 5 to 10 miles of Hamtramck. We're really proud of that. We're proud of being one of the largest employers in Hamtramck. So to just address a little bit of the discussion, that north end of the facility where we're going to be adding this addition, we are going to be basically, instead of having those docks and the trucks coming onto Lumpkin, which we consider residential. We've always been kind of that hybrid residential, industrial, and obviously we've expanded it to about 20 acres. But we're going to be just saying, hey, let's cap this off. Let's not take the trucks off residential. Let's take them off St. Aubin. So it's not only going to get rid of a bit of that eyesore where you've got 50 trucks sitting there, some of them just kind of idle, some of them storage trucks. We're going to have a nice new building, good looking, we're putting a lot of effort, a lot of money into this. And we're going to put up some nice landscaping. We're going to filter the trucks down Lumpkin. And it's going to be safer for the community. It's gonna be just, it's gonna be a nice, good-looking, facility that's frankly, hopefully gonna be here for my kids and their kids. And hopefully, in 20, 30 years, we've got another 100 employees working at Metropolitan Baking Company. So it's vital to our success as a company. This addition, it's gonna add about 30 to 35% capacity to what we're currently doing on our bun and roll line. And it's gonna make us capable of fending off some of the out-of-state competition. So it's critically important to maintaining Metropolitan's health, our employees' health, and really kind of, our trajectory towards success. So I appreciate, your consideration. And we've always, we like being a good neighbor. We've had a good relationship with the city of Hamtramck for close to 80 years, and we want to continue that. So, thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I hope you consider our Hamtramck resident, give them priority on their job, on your job hiring process.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I already know someone who, many of them actually were working from Hamtramck at your facility.
Sure.
And they like it. They've been working almost 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of them.
Great, if
those are
someone's
good.
made it there, a few, 6 months, a few years, typically, we see the retention. We've got a lot of 20, 30-year employees
Wow,
that
that's
are all,
nice.
within Hamtramck. So, and the diversity, obviously, over the time has changed, from it used to be Polish. It used to be a Polish town. Now we've got a mixture of, the Yemenis, Bangladeshis, Bengalis. And they're all incredibly hard workers. And
Thank you.
we work together, so we've been proud of our workforce.
Mr. Chair,
Go on.
I want to thank you first for being here, and I'm glad that you guys are expanding in our city, in our town. I grew up in Hamtramck, and like Mr. Hedwan said, we used to smell that fresh bread, but we're not able to buy this bread. So and I told her, if you guys are coming to tell you guys to bring us some bread.
Sure.
So I guess
I didn't wanna look like
she
an
forgot.
exclusion
No,
taker.
I'm messing with you.
But so we've always told the police, the policemen, and we've always told the firemen, hey, swing on by, pick it up. We want to take care of our own and take care of our city. So the only situation about, having that potential thrift store, we're so industrial. We've got trucks coming back and forth. We just don't have the necessary, facility for that kind of window without the potential for liability at the moment.
Yeah.
But hey, but there are about 800 local stores selling our product, and I can tell you, it's the freshest product, in the state. So.
I'm happy, you guys are actually extending it. There's only one thing, as you guys are gonna build that building on Lumpkin,
Yep.
as you know, there's a mosque
Yes.
on St. Alban, and they also own a lot next to those lots.
Yep.
And they usually use it during the holiday,
Sure.
where they have the females kind of pray there and have fun. So I'm hoping that you guys will have kind of way of any kind of fencing or something that will kind of
Without a doubt.
makes it looks
Privacy?
Yeah.
not privacy, but like a nice fencing or something that it
Sure.
just anything that's
So I can tell you, we take pride in our property.
Like you put
And we're not gonna put, just something hodgepodge up. I've got my name on every loaf of bread, I've got my name on the building. We're gonna make sure that facility looks nice, and frankly, that mosque has grown, it's been substantial, and they've become a great neighbor of ours. Initially, we didn't fully understand, the customs and, but as we, got, as employees from Metropolitan Baking Company, started kind of teaching us a little bit more of that, and, we started understanding. And we want to be good neighbors. And they've been great neighbors to us, so we'll make sure they're taken care of.
all right, sounds good. I wish you guys all the best. Can't wait to
Appreciate
see
that.
it expand. So.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, we can go ahead and vote.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
A big yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-135B approved.
All right, thank you. Congratulations. All right, we move to the new business now, and we have Resolution 2023-146, approving the purchase of mini split cooling unit for the second floor IT room.
Motion?
I'll second.
All right.
Mr.
I-
Mayor.
I don't think we need to discuss it.
Let's go real quick. Mr. Mayor, at your behest, I had this back on here. I told John to stay home. Bad luck. That's all I have.
What you trying to say, he's not a good salesperson?
He's got other stuff. No, he's actually got other
Someone already spoke about that.
Tell us more.
We beat this one down, so.
I mean, yeah, we can vote.
I mean, I'm feeling hot right here in here. Don't you guys? It's
No,
hot.
not
in
this
here.
one. This is a different one.
The problem with it here, that AC's constantly
I can answer any
running
questions that
and
anybody has.
you hear it.
Yeah.
We can always reconsider an old resolution that failed, right?
Yeah.
I actually asked them to bring this back because I changed my mind. I broke the tie last time and I said no. Then this group didn't pay for my dinner, so I changed my mind. I'm just kidding. So, yes,
Makes sense.
I think it will pass because
You're happy, you ain't gonna vote today.
one is missing, so.
Can we vote?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get into the
I
action.
think that Mr. CFO.
No, I
it's-
just said, I'm here to answer any questions that you guys might
Just
have.
pretend he's John sitting in front of
Okay.
you. All right, Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes, always.
Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
No.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-146 approved, 3-2.
All right, so somebody changed his mind.
Not yet. No.
No, I mean, last time.
Oh
we
yeah.
had,
Yeah.
two
Councilor
switched their
Rafai.
votes, which is,
Was it?
yeah, Musa was the yes last time, then he changed his mind. You were
Oh,
gonna.
you say you're gonna change your mind too.
All right,
so I
thank
changed my
you.
mind.
Okay, thank you. The next one is Resolution 2023-147, approving site plan for expansion of Metropolitan Bacon at 8579 Lumpkin Street.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Mr. Mayor, this is the companion to the one we just did at the public hearing. Unless you had more questions, I don't know that we need to revisit it.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question.
You have a question?
I-
In case there's any questions.
Yeah, just regarding the taxes, I know they're not asking for tax abatement, but when you're going to combine all those five properties, are they going to have one tax
I believe
parcel?
so, that's my
tax-
understanding.
Or are they going to have five individual property taxes?
We're requiring them to combine the parcels.
So it's going to be
bill,
one,
and it'd be one bill.
and the tax rate will be based on the current property
Well,
value?
taxes with the expansions always go up, so
Okay,
it will go up.
all right, that's all, thank you.
So that means you're not adding the entire building as one property lot, correct?
It'll be
Yes.
One parcel ID and one tax, one parcel ID.
They currently have a facility and then they're expanding, so that whole
Thing's gonna
is
be,
one facility,
okay.
with one parcel.
One person.
All right. Let's-
All right, let's vote.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-147 approved.
All right, thank you. And the next one is Resolution. Thank you. All right, congratulations. Okay, next one is 2023-148, approving purchase of automated external defibrillator.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Mayor, we have the police chief here to speak on this. This is sort of a collab between the police, fire, and
EMS.
What is this?
Yeah, it's cost of purchasing
This
15.
agenda item is requesting the city council approve the purchase of 15 automated external defibrillators to be used by the police department and other first responders. Typically, we have found that our officers are usually on the scene before anyone else as they assess the scene. There's been numerous situations where they have had to perform CPR and other type medical situations. So we think it'd be very beneficial to have these AEDs available in the scout cars. I do want to thank Officer Christopher Fay, who has kind of put this proposal together for us and brought this to my attention, and the city managers, and also the fire chief for his collaboration and rapid response for assisting us with the pricing. the price to purchase is approximately $24,000 to purchase 15, and these would come from narcotic forfeiture funds and would not impact the general fund. So I'm asking you to approve that purchase.
We're trying to make it better and safer.
So we need 15 of them?
Yeah, so we figured we would strategically place some of them in the station and other areas. The city has been taking steps to put them in City Hall. This would make them readily available in the police department, putting them in different scout cars strategically, putting them in a couple of detective cars because often they're out on the scene on things. So I just think that we have the ability to add different ones rather than maybe that car is busy on something else, then we have it in a different car. It's unable to predict often which car is going to show up first, or, you know, this would be.
How much you say cost?
Approximately $24,000.
24,000.
They're about $1,500 a piece.
Oh, yeah. It's
not
pricey, but it will save this a lot of life. That's what I'm.
As you see, we're trying to place them around City Hall.
Yeah.
This would help to put them in the police department and on the road as well.
Yeah, I read it. I have no question.
Let's vote. You.
Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud?
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri?
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury?
Yes.
Councilman Musa?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-148 approved.
All right, thank you. The next one is Resolution
Heavy guy.
2023-149, approving amendment to the Memo of Understanding Agreement with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services regarding the Low-Income Housing Water Assistance Program.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, this is basically just a re-upping of the program we have ongoing to help our residents. It's one of the many programs we offer at the DPW window when residents come in and need help. So it'll be a yearly thing we bring back to you.
Do you have to fill up any form, or how this work?
Yeah.
No, well, we basically just signed the new agreement with them saying that we're continuing to participate as all.
No, he means the residents.
Resident,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, it's generally a form process. I don't know the specifics of this one, but every one of them, they're required to fill out something. But
Yeah, they do.
What is the benefit they're getting?
this one, I believe, was water assistance. I
25.
don't know how much it gives, because there's a number of them, and I kind of mix them up a little bit, but I know there's several, and this is one of many that they could sign up for that assists with water. I know it is considerable. I want to say at least in the few $100 range, probably a lot more than that, but I mean, I can get you specifics next time. I actually didn't anticipate being asked that, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
If I may address this a little bit, because I have helped a lot of the residents with the REP program, you know, similar to this one. So I think first, they consider $25 off of your bill every month. And sometime if you are very, delinquent with the bills for 2 years, and they'll pay a lump sum to restore your service. So this program is great for the residents who needed help.
If they're qualified.
Thank you for the assist, Councilman.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have the details also.
All right. So that lady who came last meeting to complain about the water
She-
bill, maybe she's qualified to get some
Most
help.
people qualify.
Our DPW pretty much tells everybody who needs help. And
Exactly.
they assist in walking them through the process too. They're pretty good about it.
It's on the
Plus
website.
councilmen are always bringing people up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
We
right,
do.
so we can go ahead and vote.
Councilman Mahmoud?
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri?
I can vote for something I don't know.
Why you?
I will get you the details.
There's a detail.
There's no
in board
details.
docs.
There's no details.
There's
If the people they did the agreement here don't know what's the benefit, how are they gonna agree with that one?
It's there.
It's in board docs.
My point is no.
No?
Yes. Okay.
Councilman Musa?
Yes.
Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-149 approved.
Okay, thank you. Next one is Resolution 2023-150, approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between the County of Wayne and the City of Hamtramck.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, this is one of the many funding sources we have for the bathroom renovations at Veterans Park. The county basically has given us $50,000 for it. There is a timetable on this one, it's just because we've been waiting so long for all these grants to finally process through, and it's such a complex process, that we just need to execute an extension with them. So we anticipate this should be the last extension, and we're getting ready to gear up and move pretty quickly on this now, so.
Okay, any discussion?
No, sir.
It's pretty simple.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-150 approved.
Thank you. The next one, added resolution 2023-151, approving amendment of general provision governing the Hamtramck City Council.
Motion?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Attorney can address that.
Yeah, so after speaking with the ACLU, and trying to, I know you guys want to address the concerns of the citizens, so we've come up with something I think that addresses everybody's concerns, but also helps us to limit excessive meetings that start to spiral till 1:30, 2 o'clock, because that actually is absurd and also not contemplated by the Open Meetings Act. It specifically discourages long meetings like that. So we have to find a happy medium that allows people to talk, but also helps us to stop from being here until however long.
Yeah.
Or for letting somebody sort of filibuster a meeting, or people filibuster a meeting so that we can't get to agenda items. Because really what we're trying to do here is get to the city business, and so we're trying to do. So the changes basically here allow for a half an hour, 30-minute maximum before the agenda items have been completed, and then it's unlimited after that, except for a couple of things. First, the council is able to vote and stop the public comment if it's getting excessive. But also, if it's about, we've had a couple in the past, but and the Open Meetings Act in the state of Michigan, this is the guidance they provide, is that we can have each side, so if there's two sides, two viewpoints, for example, we've had, pro-pride flag, anti-pride flag, or whatever. And so each side would pick their spokesperson, and then that person would have 5 minutes at the end of the meeting. Each person would have 5 minutes to speak. That way, we avoid having 4 or 5 hours of the same viewpoint over and over again. We get a summary from one and the other, and that's the guidance from the state. I don't think it's perfect, I don't, but it's what we've got from them, and I think it meets everybody's standard. Also, with regards to the email comment, they will be read, but they were cut off after, they're not after the first 30 minutes, so any that are cut off would be put in the meeting minutes.
All right, any further discussion?
No, sir.
All right, Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-151 approved.
All right, thank you. All right, the next one, and the last one, resolution 2023-152, approving the contract for the general liability insurance policy.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, we have our controller here who's been working on this diligently with a brief presentation for you on this.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, this insurance renewal is expiring on 31st of October, and that's when we need to get the renewal for the next year. We've been working with the insurance companies for the last at least 2-3 months to try and wrap up the renewal for next year. There's a lot of information that is required by the insurance companies and the reinsurers, which include all the details about all the employees that are there. So they look at all the payroll, they look at all the budget that we approve for next year. They look at all the employees in the police department, especially because of the liability that is assigned to law enforcement and the issues regarding police liability. So, you know, it's a long, drawn-out process that went on for at least 2-3 months. And finally, we got a quote from the insurance companies. Okay. I'll just, if you can, Rana, if you can put up the.
Sure. Bear with me.
Where's Liam listed today?
Sorry?
I don't see Liam. Lynn.
Next. Next. Thanks. Okay, so as I was giving the background, the insurance for this year would start from 1st of October and go until 30th September next year. We use a broker. Currently, it is Hutton Locker Group, which markets our insurance to all the insurance companies on our behalf, and then gets the proposal and submits the proposal to us. We sit down with Hutton Locker Group to decide on the coverage based on which we receive the proposals. It gets all the information from the city and passes it on to the insurance companies. And then once it has submitted the proposal, we then bring it to the council for approval, and once it's approved, we then give our approval to the broker to go ahead and renew the policies. Now, the first thing that we need to understand is the risk profile of the city. What are the things that insurance companies consider in order to assess the risk for anybody? So for Hamtramck, our risk profile starts off next page, Rona.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that they look at is that the city of Hamtramck is in close proximity to Detroit, so that is a risk factor. They also look at the financial condition of the city, especially the historical condition of the city in terms of how the city has been managed and what are the issues related to it and all that. Then they're concerned over law enforcement related exposures, and we've had lawsuits in the past because of excessive force and other issues. They look at the lawsuit history related to the city in terms of various claims that have been filed against the city. They look at the historical crime statistics of the area, look at the image of Hamtramck. Lately, the image has not been very positive in terms of different issues cropping up. We all know we are aware of all these issues. And the historical experience of trying to insure the city. So these are some of the risk factors that they look at while selling and marketing our proposal or our city. If we look at the loss history, because I asked them specifically as to give us an idea as to what kind of losses the insurance companies have had, what kind of payouts they've made to the city or other claimants. So from 2014 to 2019, the city was insured by Agronaut Insurance, Trident, which was the more popular name, and they'd had 16 claims with a total payout of about $508,046.80. Then we changed insurance companies to Liberty Mutual from 2019 till today. So from 2019 to 23, we've had 28 claims with a payout of $273,755. Before 2013, there were two police brutality cases which were, filed, in which one officer had abused two people in two separate incidents, one after the other. One payout was 0, but the other payout was 225. So even though the loss history that they had given me was since 2014, but this history is still available to the insurance company when they consider the insurance for the city. Now, what are the changes that have taken place? Next, please. That have taken place this year in the insurance business. So there's a lot of instability and flux in insuring the public sector entities and especially the government entities in the insurance business. The carriers are, insurance companies are reducing their limits and trying to leave the public sector business totally. So one of the things that has hit us very significantly is that Liberty Mutual, which was our main insurers, they used to insure anything up to 10 million in coverage. They have reduced that coverage from 10 million to 5 million. And that means that we have to then go out and shop for coverage from 5 to 10 million. And then once they were covering 10 million, then we were having additional coverage of another 10 million. So total coverage was 20 million. For those coverages, we had two separate companies, one covering from 10 million to 15, and the third one covering from 15 to 20 million. So this time around, we needed to get first from 5 to 10, then 10 to 15, and then 15 to 20. So there were 4 insurance companies involved. In addition to that, some of the insurance companies totally declined and were not interested in providing any insurance to Hamtramck. Travelers, Trident, MMRMA is a governmental entity of Michigan which has in the past refused insurance to Hamtramck and declined so this year as well. Michigan Municipal League also declined insurance this year. So because of all of these changes, the broker had to go out and market in some other insurance companies. Next, please. So they went and Liberty quoted, which is our incumbent carrier, but it reduced the limit from 10 million to 5 million. Allied Public Risk, we will file next year, but they were not interested. Then Lucid and Hudson Primary recently pulled out of public entity space for deductible based accounts, non-renewed this program. HCC, they declined, not interested in quoting for Hamtramck. Travelers declined, Trident declined, MMRA declined, and MML declined. So these, we had very little options available when, whatever we got finally. What we did get was we got Arch Insurance Company, which quoted the first excessive layer from 5 to 10 million. Then Starstone quoted for 10 to 15, another 5 million. Berkeley entity, public entity, also quoted 5 million from 10 to 15, but their quote was higher than Starstone, so they were not considered. And then Lexington AIG, they quoted from 15 to 20 and 5 million. Next. Okay, this is just a comparison from last year. As you can see, Hutton Locker is the same as, they are the brokers. Liberty Mutual, again, the primary insurer. Last year it was insuring for 10 million. This year they've quoted for 5. Arch Specialty was last year the second excessive insurer. This year they are the first excessive insurer, 5. Then we have Merkel last year, which was the third, and then Star Specialty we have the second, and then Lexington Insurance Company, which is the third excessive insurance this year. Next. So this is a comparison of last year's insurance quote compared to this year's insurance quote. As you can see, significant increase overall, 25 to 30% in some cases higher. So property went up from 28,000 to 42,000. General liability, including cyber suite, sexual abuse, employee-based liability, employer-based liability, 65,000. That remained almost the same. Went down a little, 60,000. Business auto went up 104 to 130. A lot of this is because of the new vehicles that we added. We added the street sweeper, and we added police cars and stuff. So that went up because of the additional equipment. Commercial umbrella is the umbrella that is provided by Liberty Mutual. So last year they quoted 48,000 for 10 million. This year they quoted 46,000 for 50 million. So for 5 million. So from 10 million they went down to 5 million, but the quote remained the same. So that went up significantly. Crime is a similar amount. Directors and officers, liability insurance, 7,000 to 12,000. Employment practice liability, 33,000 to 30,000. Law enforcement liability went up significantly from 37 to 81. Then the excessive liability, which we had last year from Arch. Arch was basically insuring us from between 10 and 15 million for 5 million. So this time they are insuring from 5 to 10 million. So there is a double hit or double exposure for them. One is that they have come down on the exposure. So anything over 5 they'll have to pay out. So their probability of payment increases and their risk increases. So based on that, their quote has gone up from 75 to 136,000. So that's a significant jump because of the exposure. The second liability from 10 to 15 million. You can compare this to Arch's last year. So the 42,000 to 94,000. And then Lexington was not there last year, and this time from 15 to 20, it's 105,000. So from a total premium of 441, 851, we've gone up to 741, 651. So that's almost a $300,000 increase on our coverages. So now we've worked out a few options to consider. So the first line is basically telling us about the first, last year's proposal. Coverage was 20 million, deductible is 100,000, amount was 444. This year's quote, same coverage, amount is 741. Option 1 is basically that we consider the full coverage and we pay 741. Option 2 is we reduce the coverage by 10 million and that will reduce our cost from 741 to 542. So almost $200,000 reduction. And then third is to consider 5 million as coverage, and that takes the cost down to 406 million. Option 4 is,
406,000.
sorry, 406,000. Yeah, and option 4 is basically, we just do the auto coverage, and, you know, we don't cover anything else. It's almost like self-insuring. And option 5 is that we do self-insurance including auto. So, you know, those are the 5 options. I will tell you what our recommendation is, and then, you know, we can have a discussion. Our recommendation is to go with option 3. We reduce the coverage from 20 million to 5 million. It'll cost us 400,000. And in the meantime, we continue to look for better options with the insurance policy. The other direction that we can consider going in future, not right now, in future, is self-insurance. But that self-insurance would need to be looked at in much more detail. We would need to consider a lot of things. And when I talk about, you know, self-insurance, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have costs associated with it. What we would probably need to do is set up some sort of a fund for insurance payments. So we set aside a certain amount of seed money to start with, and then every year we, you know, add on to that seed money until we get to a significant or substantial amount of money, which can act not only as a fund for insurance, but we can call it a fund for, you know, a sinking fund for future risks, which could support your general fund, which could support any major capital expenditure, which could support, you know, some sort of whatever new initiative that the council may consider in future. But that's something that we can kind of set aside a certain amount of money every year for activities that would. But this is a direction that I think we would need to do some more work on and consider.
Our hope is to continue with a plan here moving forward. Obviously, today we need a decision. And as Amir said, we're advocating for option 3. That's the way we structured the actual resolution for this body today. But we're working out a bunch of options, one of which Amir said that we actually budget some seed money every year to put in a fund to move towards self-insurance. We're also exploring.
It's not just for self-insurance. I would say we move towards the sinking fund, where, you know, we put in money for any rainy day thing.
We're also exploring the idea of potentially partnering with other cities at a later date.
There are cities which do self-insure. There are cities who can do self-insurance through a combination of multiple cities. They set up a fund and work through that. So there are multiple options available. I think, you know, up to 500,000 coverage, it was palatable. Now going to, you know, almost $750,000, and tomorrow it might get to $1 million. It's becoming unpalatable. So we need to look at, you know, what other options we can consider.
So we were hoping to drive this down, and instead it went way in the other direction. It's out of our control completely, but I mean.
Well, the insurance business, I've had a significant amount of experience working in the private sector, dealing with reinsurers, working with some of the big reinsurers like the Lloyd's, the Swiss Re's and the Munich Re's, and I've gone and talked to them in Switzerland and given presentations on my companies. It's a similar story that you try and face, because the insurance companies, the reinsurers work worldwide. So if something happens in the US, it affects the premiums in the Middle East and India and Pakistan and some of the other countries where no claims were filed. So this is how so if we have a lot of natural disasters, it is going to increase insurance for everybody in every area, which we've had lots all over the world this year. So, you know, these are the things that we have to consider when we're looking at insurance.
Okay, I mean, I personally would agree with this plan until we find a better plan. So
We're actively working on it. Amir and I have been in conversations with not only Oakland, but some other attorneys that are very familiar in this area to see what our best option is moving forward. And we hope to put something together for this council that'll be a better plan in the future.
Yes, Councilman.
So no fall wasn't a good idea? I'm with this, regarding the self-insurance. Is there any cities that
A lot of cities do.
are
Detroit
currently,
does.
you tried?
Detroit does.
Okay.
It's a big city. You know, we have to look at our size, our capacity. There are a lot of cities who do it. So it's, the first question I asked the attorneys is it legally possible? And they assured us that it is legally possible. We can look into it. I didn't want to, stand here and say something which I cannot legally do. So yes, there are cities that do self-insure. But every city is different. Their financial conditions are different. Their experiences are different. Sometimes some cities become uninsurable, and they have no choice but to self-insure. So it's you can't really truly compare yourself to any city. But yes, I mean there are cities who do that.
I'm relatively positive we were uninsurable at one time in our past. I can't speak from experience on it, but maybe there are some people we can consult, but I'm pretty sure we did go through
Well,
that.
one of the things that you can look at is that MMRMA and MML, both government entities, are not willing to take a risk on us. They're not quoting us, they're not insuring us. So from that perspective, it's difficult. And when you have insurance company, there are always going to be somebody who will try and insure you, but it comes at a cost. In our case, the costs went up significantly.
Yeah, I'm done with this. I think, but we should actually start planning.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, that, we look at all the options, we study the legality of the issues, we maybe talk to other cities who are doing it, see how it works with them. If there is a group of cities who are handling it, as a group, maybe we can join them. So, there are a lot of things that we need to consider. But I think to start off, we can start off and have this going forward. And then whenever we are ready with a different proposal, we can bring it to the council, and at that time we can take this accordingly.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilman Chaudhry.
So, I heard a lot of things, you covered pretty much many things. I listened to you closely. But reduce from 20 million to 5 million. Now is the attorney, our attorney is
No, it's not his.
It's going to be we're taking large amount of payout to the 5 million. Will that be sufficient to take care of any lawsuit?
I can add to, so in the last 2 decades, we haven't even approached anything near that. I think the largest one that I'm aware of was 2 million for a sewer one back a decade ago. That wasn't even covered.
So sewer payments like flooding and stuff like that, they don't pay. So the reason we considered 5 million was because of the fact that in the last 10 years, we have not reached that level
Of
large
payout.
Last 50.
Yeah, I just don't want our resident to stuck with the broken storage, or not the storage covering, means something that is very big burden to us, and then we don't have the coverage to back us up. I'm in insurance.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I have I mean,
That's why they're working towards
That's
finding
what
other.
I'm working towards, and when I say reduce from 20 million to 5 million, it's basically looking at the economics of 20 million versus 5 million.
That's a lot.
And that's why I identified all the options. So from 20 to 10, and then to 5, even to 0, even just part of, it's your choice. You guys can decide whichever options you feel we should go with. I mean, if you want, we can go with 1 million, but the cost is going to be 741,000.
I mean, I see the significant of premium is changes to 741 to 406. That's a lot of money we're saving.
Yeah.
However, on the other side, it's the liability is very important. Things
That's
happen.
true.
Things
That's
go
true.
wrong.
Shouldering more risk.
The risk business we're in.
Right, and the problem is that we did not see anything in the last 10 years which came even close to 10 million. 5 million.
Yes.
So that's why we thought that we can start off by taking a risk over 5 million. And, there was this, when we talked to somebody, there was a suggestion that, we cover ourselves for 5 million to 25 million, and let the insurance company cover above 25 million and below 5 million. So there are all kinds of,
Options
things that we can look at,
We were trying to get more options actually, but they limited.
Right now, this is what we have, and that's why we are suggesting that, we go with option 3, which is, 5 million, and then, we look at it, we study it in more detail. And if, honestly, if we find something, let's say in 3 months' time, we can always come back, cancel this insurance, and do it.
So there's no
something else.
contract?
No.
There is a contract, it's a 1-year contract,
Okay.
you can always cancel the insurance.
You get a penalty or no?
That's possible.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know.
But there is, usually there is a penalty.
It more than likely is going to be.
Something.
But we're
Exploring everything, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I think it won't be happening so soon anyway. It'll take us
A year.
a lot of time to do. Okay.
All right, let's vote.
I think we can go ahead and vote.
Councilman Al-Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-162 approved.
Thank you.
So just to clarify, this is the resolution where we're going from 20 million to 5 million
Yes.
with a exposure of 406,000.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, sir.
We move to the reports. I'm gonna make it short. We don't have much to say. I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Yemeni people on celebrating their 61st anniversary of the revolution, which marked the birth of the Republic of Yemen in the northern part, and like we said, paved the way to the Revolution of October in the south, got rid of the British occupation, and the outcome of that was the reunion of South and North into one Yemen in 1990. I was invited today by a high school student who celebrated this anniversary, and I went there for 1 hour. I left my work and joined them. There was a lot of food, homemade food and good stuff in there.
You invite us.
Yeah, they invited me.
It's not his program.
I see.
Well, that said, I think I just also want to mention that I'm doing my best to communicate with the community. A week ago, I had a meeting with Ross Gordon, discussed some issues of the city, and it was a positive meeting with good outcomes. We have more meetings coming, and hopefully we can work together to bring the community together and de-escalate any tension. That's it for me. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem is not here. He is in the hospital. I hope he gets well. He sent me some pictures. He's getting some cardiac treatment, and I hope he gets better soon. And we move to the city council meeting. City council report. If anyone wants to say anything.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
Well, I just want to thank everybody that showed up here tonight. There's a lot of events I attended, mostly our weddings. It's crazy. This summer, just so much weddings. And I just want to thank again everybody that showed up here today. And, have a great night. And God bless all of you guys.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Chair,
Councilman Abu Musa.
I was in New York City last week. I had a very good experience. I was watching the UN resolution. Prime Minister of Bangladesh, she's delivering her speech. I was there, a few other President, Prime Minister delivering the speech. I was there three nights. So I enjoy my time there. It is really, really wonderful United Nations.
Good. Did you get a chance to protest like in Washington?
It's going on continuously.
All right.
He was on the street.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say the happy Polish American Heritage Month. you should be part of. You have done so much work for this country, so much for the city, and it's a culturable, and really I'm part of their work they have done for this country. Secondly, I'd like to congratulate my Yemeni Americans, residents, friends, and colleagues, and well wishes. Happy Revolution Day. Your history is as rich as your culture and something to be part of. I have another thing I'd like to address to the chief, that I have assessed that during this month of August, we had 30 accidents in Hamtramck alone. 30 accidents occurred just in the city of Hamtramck. And that tells me that we have something, we are obligated to do something. The drivers or the visitors that coming in and causing accident, I think, is this the traffic signals, or is this the drivers, or the city, the streets that we're not wide enough to see things? But I understand this city is consists of the immigrants and new drivers. However, there's too many accidents. Overall, the state of Michigan is like less than 700 accidents throughout the year. And if 30 in Hamtramck alone, we are, insurance is going to rise, and the claim, all this going to increase. So I have just suggestions to the city manager and our Hennessy my colleagues to reconsider the Conan Street to make it like Holbrook, wide, where they can park on the sidewalk. Holbrook is like cars are able to park on the sidewalk. It's paved to this street road. The sidewalk and the Holbrook Road is in this it's not level, but it's level. There is no curve anymore. I don't know why that it was designed that way during the construction.
Are you saying that Conan doesn't have the curve anymore?
Yeah, I think it will eliminate the blind spots. They park on the street and the car is trying to cross the street, and blind spots is causing the accident mostly, crossing from one side to another side. And if the street gets level and they park closer to the sidewalk, it's still going to have sidewalks, but I think something to consider. The Conan, it's congested. It's heavy traffic on Conan now during the school, during the month. It's all causing the accident. Something to think about. And I'd like to also say that everyone, thank you so much for being here. And we listened to your concern. We really appreciate your comment. You are welcome to say anything you want. No one is stopping you. Your time is there, but it has to be limited due to we have to go home. We have some other thing to do, but we do respect everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any more reports? City manager, do you have anything to say?
Just briefly, wanted to touch on the tree grant we got. I think we spoke about it at the last meeting. The city was awarded $1 million tree grant. Big deal. We had applied for 1,500 trees for the city, a tree steward, and some programs in order to be able to maintain and catalog all that. We had it before, but unfortunately all those subscriptions expired, but now we are hoping to re-up that. So we'll be looking for an actual position to deal with the trees coming up. We're not exactly sure on the full parameters yet of what we were granted, but we did get the official notice that we did get it. Additionally, Councilman Rafai and I attended the press release slash ceremonial planting over in Detroit. The region got about $40 million for this. So that's all I have. We do not need the closed session that was on the agenda.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. We move back to the public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sarah Tyrion. 2 minutes.
Okay, so if I don't use my full 2 minutes, then I feel like it should be given back to people who were cut off. So Mr. Popoy and Sarah.
Well, they were cut off based on their time, not the allotted time for the public comment.
Right, but the city attorney just said that they want to limit it to 30 minutes total before the meeting, right?
But everybody did speak at the beginning of the meeting. Anybody who wanted to speak did speak, but they were just allotted their 3 minutes. But everybody who wanted to speak did speak at the first public comment.
Right, but did the whole public comment last 30 minutes?
It's still limited per individual for 3 minutes. Even if we only use 25 minutes out of the 30 minutes, it doesn't give each individual person that extra time to speak. The rules are 3 minutes plus an additional 1 minute if needed. Is it 1 minute at the first meeting or just the second meeting?
It's 3 at the beginning
And then
one
2
additional
plus 1, yes.
So if he was needing 1 more minute,
He could ask for an additional minute if he wanted to.
okay.
Well, at the end. In the beginning, it's 3 minutes, 3 minutes per person.
So you're asking the people of Hamtramck to organize themselves in order to come here, to come to meetings, to tell you their thoughts. So if I have something to say that might align with something that the Queer Alliance has to say, or the people that live on my block have to say, we have to figure out who's gonna come and talk. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what if I don't have any friends that live here and I just wanna talk about one thing? Like, you have to, like, make it make sense for the people that live here, that come to these meetings, because they care about their community. And if we're expected to do all that, then I think that council members should be reading the actual minutes, things that are in the actual minutes.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, no problem.
Mark Corey?
We have two issues. One is the Yemeni Revolution resolution. I tell you, my history goes back to Yemeni people over 35 years. I can remember back in the 80s, Zindani party star, there was a murder took place. They killed Zindani. His cousin is Imam Zindani. And I'm the person who filed a private compensation claim with the state of Michigan back in the 80s, so they could get $1,000 paid for his funeral and so forth. He was murdered not too far from here, Zindani party store. That was back in the 80s. And I remember, I was last year in law school, they had the Yemeni Revolution back in 1990. It was funny because they thought in Vietnam, we sided with the South. And we were going to go to the North, and we were going to support North Yemen this time. And we eventually became an ally. Okay, so I really, the Yemeni people, I've known the Yemeni people for a long time. My first Yemeni case was a Yemeni slipped, a woman slipped in Sears Roebuck back in the 80s. And I got a settlement for her because she was injured herself at Sears Roebuck. So since that time, I've gone on, representing them everything, drug cases, everything. But in any event, we've come a long way. We now have a state house member, and White over very well, Representative Ayash, and there's so many people, Yemenis have become prominent in Metro Detroit, and we congratulate all of them for their role. I remember back in the days of the few allies that Mayor Guido had, he was anti-Arab, was the Yemeni community. And I think that a lot has come since that time. Others who I've talked to was about self-insurance. Self-insurance, you should look into Livonia, Dearborn Heights, Farm Hills, all of its self-insured claims. Now, the reason I know this is because I filed so many claims against those cities. In fact, his wife was working for me. Huda Sharif used to file claims. In fact, we had the litigations against the city of Hamtramck.
Thank you, Mark.
She says that.
People. Yeah, yeah. So, nice seeing you guys.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it? All right, so the closed session was canceled?
Yep.
All right, then we adjourn.
Motion, please.
I motion.
Second.
9 o'clock exactly.
Exactly, 9 o'clock it is.
Mr. CFO.
I was planning to 8:30.
Mr. CFO. At a long,
Yeah, it's leaving.
He was taking his time. See? Make sure we get the gum blind. This is a gum blind.
That's my personal something.
I don't like the gum blind.